in the lives of those who lead has declined and slowly dissipated. It's even gotten so bad that we have gotten to the point where we almost expect a low level of integrity and in character in our leaders. Can I talk to y'all today? Can I say it how I feel it? Y'all ain't talking to me today. But many of us can testify and agree that we have been burned so many times by a lack of integrity in every walk of life. In the political arena, we witness corrupt congressmen manipulating mayors, slick senators, and greedy governors. At our places of employment, we've all ran across some scandalous supervisors. Somebody ought to say amen. Some devilish directors, some cutthroat co-workers, and some criminal corporate CEOs. In our families, even in our families, many of us have had to deal with some fickle family members. Some conniving cousins, you know, Ray, Pookie and them, you know, untrustworthy uncles and backstabbing brothers, sketchy and shifty sisters and amoral aunties. Even at the church, you knew I was going to come get you. Even at the church, we've all heard of or even experienced a lack of integrity in the house of God. Even at the church, there are some unprincipled pastors. Some pimping preachers. Y'all ain't talking to me. Some unbelievably underhanded bishops. Some messy ministers and dishonest and double-talking deacons and some tricky trustees. Look at your neighbor and ask these questions. Where is the integrity? Where's the integrity? Many of you are familiar with the popular old school movie, A Few Good Men. And in the movie, Jack Nicholson's character hollered out in the courtroom, you can't handle the truth. But I believe there are some folk here today that can handle the truth. I got a witness here. I believe I got some people here who believe in the truth, who breathe the truth, who live in the truth, and who walk the truth. Brothers and sisters, I came by this morning to tell the truth here today. The truth is God requires integrity. God is looking for some people who are bold enough to walk in integrity. The truth is, all God needs is a few good men. And I wonder, is there any few good men up in here today? Are there any few? I wonder, is there any good young women in here with some integrity? Because God needs some good men and some good women. God, some who will walk in integrity, who will walk in honesty, who will walk like Jesus. Anybody in here want to walk like Jesus? Who will talk like Jesus? Who will strive to have high Christian morals, to have high Christian ethics, to have high Christian ethics and principles? God is looking for some people who will walk upright before Him. The Bible declares in Psalm 37 and 23, the steps of a good man, are ordered by the Lord, and He delighted in His way. Proverbs 12 and 2 declares, a good man obtaineth honor or favor of the Lord. Somebody holler back at your boy and shout, all God needs is a few good men. There are any few good people in here who are walking into integrity every day. I'm trying to be like Jesus, trying to walk like Jesus, trying to talk like Jesus. Everything that's in me, I want to be like. I want to be like Jesus. I want to be like Jesus. As we penetrate the periphery of this particular pericope, the text lifted for our consideration lands us in the midst of Solomon's reign as king of Israel. 24 years had passed since Solomon had mounted the throne as king of God's people. Chapter 1 of the book of Kings chronicles King David at the end of his monarchical reign and his declaration and endorsement of his successor, the son he had with Bathsheba named Solomon. The temple that his father David wanted and desired to build for God, Solomon was allowed the honor and the privilege to build a place of worship where God would dwell with his people. Solomon not only built the house of the Lord, he also built a place for himself to reside. The Lord's temple and the king's palace, both built in the holy city of Jerusalem, was now finished. Solomon accomplished an awesome and great work, and now he had to deal with life after completion of his great accomplishment in ministry. It's in this context that we push through the background so we can appreciate the breakdown. And let me pause here parenthetically and warn us as we all try to build our home ministry here at Little Rock Baptist Church. We better make sure that our integrity and morals and Christian character is ready to handle where God is taking us. We better be ready. We better be ready that our integrity is in order, that our character is in line, that we're ethically sound. Is there anybody here know that God is taking us somewhere? But we got to be ready for where he's taking us. We better make sure that our integrity is in line. We got to make sure that our Christian morals and our Christian ethics are in line with God. Because the danger with the danger with God giving you gift and promise and purpose is purpose. The gift will have you in places that your character ain't ready to handle. Any witnesses in here that God had me in a place that my character wasn't quite ready for? Y'all ain't ready for me here today. Here in the text, God Almighty warns King David as it relates to integrity. God appeared to Solomon a second time and declared, I have heard your prayer and thy supplication. And isn't it good to know that God will hear and answer your prayer? Anybody in here glad that God is still listening to our prayer? When we get down on our knees, we still got a God that listens to our prayers. Anybody in here ever had a little talk with Jesus and told him all about your struggles? He'll answer by and by. Just have a little talk. Some of y'all ain't talked to Jesus in a while. Some of y'all ain't get down on your knees in a week or so. You need to get down every now and then and tell God all about your struggles. Anybody in here ever talk to Jesus? Then after God reassures and affirms and informs Solomon that the temple had God's approval, and that God had set the temple apart as holy, God says something very interesting to Solomon. Can I teach today? 1 Kings 9:4, it's in the book. I'm not making none of this up. It's in the text. And if thou wilt walk before me as David, thy father, in integrity of heart and in uprightness, to do according to all that I have commanded thee, and will keep my statutes and my judgment. Where my Bible readers in here? I need to talk about it for a minute. And if thou wilt walk before me as David, thy father walked in integrity of heart. Y'all ain't getting it. It's going over your head. Y'all ain't getting it. Let me rewind and come again. And if thou wilt walk before me as David in integrity of heart. Now I've got to be honest with you all. I had a problem with what God said to Solomon. I had a hermeneutical suspicion. I was troubled by the text. I was surprised by the scriptures. God says that Solomon walked like his father David. He would establish the throne over Israel forever. For I made this promise to your father David, one of your descendants will always sit on the throne of Israel. And here's where I had a problem with the text. God suggests that if David should walk like David, who had integrity and who walked in uprightness. Now, brothers and sisters, I know I'm not the greatest theologian in the world, but I do know a little bit. I know a little bit about the Bible. And I know integrity and uprightness probably wouldn't be the two words that I would use to describe David. You know, this is the same David who was disobedient and manipulative to Uriah as he attempted to cover up his adulterous affairs with a woman named Bathsheba. This is the same David, somebody said the same David, who lied, who orchestrated the death of a man to cover his own backside. I'm just the same David. Same David who while he should have been at war, looked over in the twilight in the evening and saw a fine woman named Bathsheba and said, I got to have her. This is the same David with lustful eyes went and told his men, go get her and bring her to me. This is the same David whose life was a roller coaster of highs and lows. So in my mind arose a question, why in the world would God tell Solomon to walk like David? What made God categorize a man with such a spotty past as a man of integrity? And as I studied this text in my preparation, I got happy at the revelation. Well, the awesome thing